where 6- and 7-figure CEOs build their purpose-driven legacy businesses through proven branding, marketing, and sales strategies so that they don't have to sacrifice their income and happiness for their mission. Thanks for watching the Life School Masterclass show. Join our Facebook group community of badass mission-driven entrepreneurs, and come back next week same place and time for our upcoming show.
Hello, purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Welcome back to our show. I hope you're having a great Thursday so far. I'm here with another amazing guest, amazing conversation from our community. Before we start our show today in the very interesting topic of how to heal your trauma and bad experiences, I will remind you that if you're looking for great strategic partnership opportunity with the purpose-driven brand and company Arbonne, then in the health and wellness space, then definitely reach out after the show. So I want to introduce my guest today, Chrissy Kahiga. Chrissy, thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure for me because I know you've been in our community for a while, so I can't wait to learn a little bit more regarding what you're going to share with us and your experience with this topic. So feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really honored. I'm Chrissy Kahiga. I'm a mental health coach. I'm also a trauma coach. So I help people walk through the negative impact of the bad experiences we've been through. And I know that everyone has gone through bad experience. So normally those experiences impact us in a negative way, or some of them do. And when they do, they affect our identity, our sense of worth, our mindset, our state of being. And to me, that's the core of who we are.
Absolutely. This is very deep work and very meaningful work, I'm sure, with the people that you're helping. How did you get into this work?
So I studied anthropology. It's the study of human beings, culture, society, just the way of life of human beings. Then when I was doing my degree, I got into a program with the UN Women, and I was trained as a counselor for gender-based violence. And that was my first encounter with trauma. Also, just personally going through my own trauma, I was able to understand the cycle in which I was able to come out of it. So I combined the two, what I'd learned about human beings and their behavior, and also my counseling background. So I started seeking healing in 2020, and I did it pro bono for 2020, 2021. Then in this year, I went online. I, cast my net and kind of just connect with people all over the world, and that's how I started this virtually.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. That's really cool stuff. So, so tell us, based on your experience, what are some of the main causes of trauma or bad experiences that really brings people to get help?
Just life, I think, family, the fact that we are gonna interact with other people and we control who they are, how they treat us, and what they've gone through. So understand the need for grace, understanding the need for understanding, being in a place where you're able to look at things deeper than they appear, So it's just experiences. It's things we can't control. It's just everything that we go through on a day-to-day, and it's from personal, interpersonal, and even just the activities we're in, the workplace, school, relatives, strangers. You can experience trauma in and even just to highlight that trauma is not necessarily the big scary stuff. It can be subtle and subconscious as well. And a lot of the times, the things that affect us the most are ones that we've not yet been able to highlight or we're in denial of. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes so much sense. So what are some of the results that after let's say people get your help and we understand, we are aware of it, and we try to heal our trauma, what are some of the results that you get by doing that?
Well, the first part of my program is identity. And it's crucial because you can't know what you want if you don't know who you are. And a lot of people have carried a lot of baggage that has kind of put a plaster on them that they are carrying that is not necessarily who they are. So a couple of the things that I go through is understanding disposition, which is conditioning and environment growing, because childhood is such a key area in how you form your identity, and just understanding the influence that other people have had, the influence that other people's opinions have had on what we think about ourselves, what we think has been robbed from us, our belief system, and then getting to a place where now, once we understand what all that is about and how all those experiences in their own way has had an impact on us, then we can go on to now shedding off whatever is not serving us, taking on the lessons, and kind of moving on to an area where you start to realize who you truly are. It's very critical because identity is the basics to all transformation, and it's just something that I've come to see, because for a long time I wasn't able to be myself. I was responding trauma. I had a lot of trauma response, and I saw how it affected the results I got in my life, the things that I thought were possible or impossible. So yeah, identity.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. And I love the connection between childhood, because I just also know personally that, a lot of that comes from there. And as we get older and we become more aware, or we experience pain through bad experiences, then
Yeah.
we become aware that, wait a minute, there's something there. And we start realizing that it's blocking us for certain things or in certain areas, or it's giving us a bad experience. So that's where I think it wakes us up to kind of want to do something about it.
Yeah.
So, Chrissy, what is your framework that you help your clients? So you said identity, you start with that first. So what are some of the things you walk people through to help them, heal their traumas?
So identity is the first, then the second is state of being, and then the third is mindset, and then the fourth is sense of worth. A lot of the times we go into mindset work before we do the inner work, because our mindset is kind of powered by our experiences and what we believe to be true. And beliefs were formed in the way we grew up. So a lot of the times, that's why so many times it's hard for people to. Can you hear me?
Okay. I think you're still here. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I was saying that a lot of the times people work on their mindset, and then they wonder, I'm being positive, I'm doing all the work, I'm doing affirmations, they don't seem to be working. It's because the trauma has not yet been dealt with. The negative impact of those bad experiences has not yet been dealt with, and how it has affected you. So the first area for me is identity, as I explained. So we go into your childhood and into your formative years, stretching out into your adulthood. Because a lot of the times people realize that there's a problem when they get to their adulthood. Sometimes we don't highlight the issues with kids, because we're still figuring things out. So that's my framework: identity, which encompasses conditioning and environment, our own perspective of ourselves, what we know to be true and not true, and then go to what you feel has been robbed, and then go into the belief systems, because your beliefs are key to what you manifest your reality. And after that now is when we work on that identity, who you think you are and what you want, is when now we go into the state of being. I base this off of the fact that as human beings, our core is knowing, feeling, thinking, and doing. So for me, knowing is who you are. Feeling is your state of being. Thinking is your mindset, and your sense of worth comes from, I mean, is the projection of your actions. So that's my outline.
Wow, I love that. And that seems to be so thorough, right? You have the framework, you have the map. So if someone is definitely experiencing something like that,
Yeah.
you were able to hold the space for them and help them navigate that, and then come out on the other side with new
Yeah.
skills, new experiences that they can, take and put back in their life and move forward, so to speak, in so many ways. Do you feel that, how do you feel trauma helps people stay stuck from what you've seen?
It keeps you in a place of negativity. So you have a lot of negative blocks, and also it holds you back from owning the power that you have, because we're all made in the image and likeness of God, and that means that there is a God within us. There is a power, but that power can only be.
Oh, I think we lost Chrissy. So as she comes back, um, hopefully soon here in our live, that's what happens when you're live. You always get you get some technical hiccups, but we will overcome them. But this is definitely a really important topic in healing your trauma and bad experiences. And if Chrissy comes back, as she's sharing with us, how important is it? How actually trauma keeps you stuck? I think it's the awareness that you could have from that is really, really empowering. And I also want to ask Chrissy when she comes back, is how this actually affects us in our business. So as we are all purpose-driven entrepreneurs, growing our businesses, I know that trauma definitely affects in that area as well. All right, Chrissy, welcome back. Can you hear and see me?
Elona, sorry, I don't know what happened. I think I just got cut off. I don't know if it was my phone. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So you were asking me how trauma holds us back.
Mhm.
So the negative blocks, they hold back from owning who we truly are, standing in our power, where we actually believe that good things are meant to happen to us. And a lot of the times, we have been fed so much negativity that overcoming some of these things almost becomes impossible, because it's like it has been deeply ingrained into our subconscious, and overcome of those things because of the feelings that were aligned with those experiences becomes so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And my last question, Chrissy, is before we get a bad connection, is how does not healing our trauma keep us stuck in our businesses?
Because your belief system is what allows you to attract things to your life. Yeah. And if you have negative, you're always going to hold yourself and feel that you're worthy of good things, of success. You won't feel that you are able to go out and be everything that you want to be. And there is something like financial trauma, because growing up, depending on the type of family you grew up around or in, there are certain things that are instilled in us about business, about finances, about what's or impossible. And those things can affect our output. So working through financial is very key, because we for me, I was really, that was dependent. I mean, my mom wasn't working as I was growing up, so I had to be dependent on my grandparents, and put such a strain on me what I wanted. It was just the bare minimum or whatever you need, and that's it. Growing up and being told you're not good enough, you're rubbish, you're such a joke, all these things, it really put me down. And throughout my school until I got into university, I really didn't used to perform well. So it was always instilled in you're no good, you're not gonna do any good, is last in your class. And when I got into university is when I started getting really good grades. And I was like, so I've been smart this whole time. I was just in an environment that didn't allow me to understand what was, possible for me. And as I continued to work on my trauma, I started to realize that we're the only hold ourselves back, depending on the type of belief systems we have also been encultured in. And that was such a breaking point for me, because then I started working on those intrinsic things, and I was able to overcome so many blocks. Even starting your own business and saying that it's gonna thrive, that takes having a sense of worth. And a lot of people feel unworthy. They feel like they're not enough, or they don't have enough to offer, and that will hold from being successful in your business, or even taking the chances needed to succeed, or to bring those new ideas, the innovation. It's a really key area. The topic of finances, success, abundance, prosperity, depending on whether those were even topics you were even exposed to. But looking into that is quite critical.
Wow, I love the connection you make for people. It's so, so true. That's why I asked that. So I'm glad I asked. Because a lot of times, we don't really understand why it's important to go through the deeper work. Because, we just kind of want to avoid it until something happens, and then we have to deal with it. So
Yeah.
I think the awareness is really crucial in the education that you bring to the table as well. Awesome. Well, we have actually reached the end of our show. I want to thank you for everything you shared with us. Amazing wisdom and amazing information for our
Thank you.
followers or listeners of the show. I would want to ask you at the end, what is a final message from your school of life that you want to share with our audience? And also, where is it that the audience can connect with you?
For me, it's just understanding that all the answers that you're seeking are within you. You have all the answers within you. Your life experiences are for you. And when you seek support, it doesn't mean that you're no good or you can't figure it out. It's just so that you can walk through those that are too painful to your own, and also for the accountability, because I always say that we offer support, perspective, and accountability, and the rest is on you. The work is on your side. So it doesn't really mean that when you seek support that you failed or you're no good. It just means that you are trying to find a way to become the best version of yourself, and that's by knowing who you are. So I'll circle back to identity. You can't know what you want if you don't know who you are. And that goes for your career, it goes for your purpose, it goes for love, and relationships. It goes for every area of your life. So yeah.
Yeah, beautiful message for sure. And where is it that people can connect with you? Where is your best work located?
Well, my website is www.seekinghealing.cloud. And also across my media, it's Chrissy Kahiga. So you can reach out and you can DM me. On my website, there's also a link for free station. So if you're interested in learning more about how I can be of assistance, please reach out. I would be honored to work with you. Yeah.
Definitely reach out, and you also find Chrissy in our community, Badass Mission Driven Entrepreneurs, inside our Facebook group. And I want to thank you again, Chrissy, for everything you shared. And I'm glad that we virtually met and I was able to hear a little bit more regarding the work you do. I know you're a very good contributor to our community with your posts. So really hearing a lot more behind your work, your background, and all of that definitely brings a different spin to things, and it really does serve the community in the best way. So thank you so much for sharing, and I will see you guys with another interview, another amazing guest. Bye for now.
All right.